Welcome behind the scenes to my little puppet theater. If you were going to go see a puppet show in one of the countries that I mentioned, you would probably go into a big, beautiful theater and sit in a chair. Here in my little room, you'll see my kitchen in the background. I'm just set up here on the floor with my shadow puppet screen. So this is kind of like if you've seen a canvas, a nice frame made out of wood and cotton fabric stretched really, really tightly over there. We want it to be nice and tight so that we get really crisp shadows. Next, we need a light, and usually we clip this underneath or up above with a clip light, something that we can clip. I'm gonna put mine down here on the floor, and it's really bright. And it goes right down here. So, there we go. Goes right down there and not too close to the screen. And then you can see the puppeteer will take their puppets and put them right here on the ledge and press them right up against the screen so that the people on the other side get a nice crisp shadow. We don't see the shadow from here, except the shadows of my hands. We just see the puppet, but the people on the other side see the shadow. And we can put all of our scenery here on the sides. The nice thing about this frame, this was my mountain, just out of a cardboard box. And the nice thing about this frame is you can prop this right in between the frame and the fabric. And it makes a nice spot so you don't have to use your hands for that. You can keep your hands free for just the puppets. I like to make do with what I've got. You can see this one is all made out of cardboard. You would never know it from looking at the shadow from the other side though, right? It could be made out of leather. There's some plastic here that I colored with marker. It could be made out of leather. It could be made out of something else. There's an amazing theater group called Shadow Light Productions in San Francisco, and they use live actors too. And everything is made out of cardboard. It's really amazing to go behind the scenes because you'll see intricate, beautiful things that look just as intricate as the Indonesian ones I showed you with all the little holes. But they're really just made out of cardboard. Do you want to put on your own puppet show? All right. You always want to make sure that you ask a grown-up in your house if it's okay to use some of the things that I mentioned. If you don't have a frame, maybe you can use an old picture frame, but if you don't have a frame, you can get a box and cut a hole in it so that you have something that looks like the shape, a rectangular shape, like the screen that I showed you. And then you can pull a t-shirt or an old pillowcase tight over it and attach it with tape or with a staple. You might want to use an adult's help for that too. But like I said, always make sure you check with a grown-up to make sure that it's not one of their favorite t-shirts or a pillowcase that they really need or something like that. Now, if you don't have one, if you ask and they say, I'm sorry, I don't have any extra fabric for you to use, don't worry. One of the best things, one of my favorite things about being a puppeteer is figuring out how to do something I want to do with what I have. And sometimes I don't always have the things that would be perfect to make it happen. So I have to think, what could I use instead? And I think it's a really fun challenge. So if you don't have fabric to use, don't worry. There's another way you can put on a puppet show. We can make shadows on the wall. So I'm gonna show you. I've got the light that I was using up on a table, but it can be a lamp anywhere in your house. You don't have to be too close to it. You wanna make sure the lamp is not too close to anything, and you can have a grown-up help you move it somewhere. So you find a nice wall or someplace where you can put the shadows. See my hand right there? So the idea is you're gonna put your puppet in between the light and the wall. It doesn't really matter where you are. Here, you can see my puppet over here. I've got my little fish. As long as I'm in between the light and the wall, my puppet will go right there. Here's my dragon. My dragon and my fish can go. So we can do a shadow puppet show there. We just see the shadows, not the color. That way. It's still so beautiful, and you can tell so many good stories that way.